Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Vic Slain Hope. And I got another book review. I finally finished this book right here. The Power of Awareness. It's actually two books in one. It's The Power of Awareness, and it also includes Awaken Imagination by Neville Goddard. So it's about 180 pages long. The reason why I read this book is because it was given to me, like, not in book form, but like one of my mentors, he gave it to me as a he gave it to me in the pamphlet. Right, it's a very short book. It's not that long. It's a short read. He gave it to me in a pamphlet a long time ago. Like, this was a brother that I met when I was in jail, when I was in Rikers, and he used to come in he used to work at Bronx Community College, and he used to like kind of like, I don't know if he was volunteering or if he was getting paid. I'm not really so sure, but he used to come to Rikers, and he used to bring us books sometimes. And when I got out, I seen him. We still kind of like stayed in contact. Well, I was working at Bronx Community College, and I bumped into him. So I was like, oh shit. So we was talking, and then he gave me this, so he was one of like my mentors when I got out, and he kind of like, we stayed in communication, and he always tried to help me out. So he gave me the book to read, and I read it. I finally just finished reading it. The pamphlet, I got rid of it, or I gave it to somebody, and then I actually purchased the actual book. So that's how I kind of like heard about the book and came in contact with it. What the book is about, the book is basically about the power of awareness of self. I am that I am, like, and that's like kind of like the main concept throughout the book, that you may forget who you are, where you are, but you can't forget that you are. I am that I am. I may forget where I am, how I am, what I am, but I said that already. But I can't forget that I am. He uses a lot of in the book is basically about that, right? The power of awareness. How everything starts with you. And the way you think in your mind about yourself. And he uses a lot of biblical, so he uses this thing that's called the power of assumption, right? Like, so you got to use your mind to kind of like, if you have a goal intended, you got to use your mind to kind of like feel as if you already accomplished it in order for you to actually accomplish it. He calls it like the law of assumption, to kind of like operate in the sense of, one of the laws in the 48 laws of power, it says act like a king to be treated like one, something like that. And acting, so it's kind of like the same thing he's saying. You got to act a certain way so your brain could kind of like register that, and it could be fulfilled. He uses a lot of biblical scriptures to kind of like, and he interprets them a certain way to kind of like, for them to mean the mind and certain things within you. Like, he was trying to say something about God is within you, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It took me a long time to read the book because I kind of like don't really agree with things he was saying, but I do agree that the mind is a very powerful place and a powerful tool. So that's kind of what the book is about. What I got from it, it was basically, like how powerful the mind is, and how a lot of times you kind of like gotta like trick the mind to kind of like fulfill certain goals that you might have. Like, you might have a goal to kind of like be a lawyer, and you kind of like have to start operating as if you are a lawyer, right? Like, maybe start dressing up like one, maybe start getting up or doing certain things that lawyers do, whether it's getting up and going to like a coffee shop to do your work, or whatever the case might be, right? I'm not saying that's what lawyers do, but like, yeah, going into an office, doing certain things. But he basically was just saying, like, you have to kind of like assume the role that you are trying to get. And that's kind of like what I got, and I definitely do agree. One of the main concepts throughout the book is that your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. And that's kind of like something that I mean, I've been read like stuff like this, but it's kind of like being reiterated, that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And so you have to constantly have these self-talks with you. This is kind of like why I believe most people should probably go to jail. Not even jail, but most people should kind of like, if they could, like kind of like lock themselves away for probably like 30 days without no phones, without no electronics, just to kind of like have that inner dialogue. And I know like some people gonna be like, you crazy, but you will be surprised what that inner dialogue away from distractions will kind of like do to you. Some people not ready for that, right? And some people will kind of like you know, it will kind of like help them just reflect and look at themselves. A lot of times we are so distracted with certain things that we don't even get time to sit down and just think about ourselves. So imagine if you was able to be in a place where, you know, you don't really have to worry and you could just focus and zone in on that inner conversation with yourself. The great things could come from that. But that's basically what I got from it. How I plan on implementing it. I'm probably gonna share it with some people. I mean, of course, I'm making a book review. This is kind of like what I do. This is how I share with people. Um, on how I plan on implementing it. Like, right, I kind of like tell people about it. If this is your kind of like ideology that God is within you, and you know we are God in a certain sense, and the imagination created God and whatever. I don't know if that's exactly what he believes, but that's kind of like what the book sounds like. So if that's your thing, then this might be the book for you. And yeah, like I always tell people, like your actions cannot change until your thoughts change. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this, something that Malcolm X said, right? He said, first thing you gotta change is your philosophy, your ideals, how you think of things. After you change your philosophies, you change your thought pattern. After you change your thought pattern, it's gonna change your attitude. Once your attitude is changed, it's gonna change your behavior. And once your behavior changes, you can move into some action. But again, it all starts with what we feed our brain and how we perceive the world. The world is a direct reflection of your inner world. Your world is a direct reflection of your inner world. And the outer world is a direct reflection of how you think about yourself and the world. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Stay blessed. Peace.